All right, everybody, welcome back. Pretty simple install today. All you're gonna need is a 10 millimeter socket and ratchet and wrench. So let's talk. I have 730 miles on this bike. Most of that has been a good combination of on and off road. But as you know, when you go off road, you get mud, you get rocks, you get whatever thrown up at your bike. And the factory, I'm just going to call it a crash bar, doesn't offer much protection against like mud and little stones that could come up and potentially break a side case. So I started thinking I want a skid plate. This is not the skid plate that I wanted, but this is a skid plate I bought. It's off of Amazon. It's nice CNC. This was $85 shipped to my door. The thing I like about this, and one of the main reasons why I chose this skid plate over the hundreds of other aluminum skid plates, is this is one of the only ones that utilize your factory mounting locations. There's none of those weird hook over your frame and bolt up through the bottom kind of brackets. I didn't really want to deal with that. I didn't want to deal with that vibration. So I've heard a lot of negative stuff about that. Plus, I like the anodized black look. I think it'll fit the bike really well. But we'll talk about the skid plate that I wanted. The skid plate that I recommend if price point isn't a issue for you. Like I said, this was $85. The skid plate I wanted was $160 shipped to my door. And it was Hyde Racing. It's a polymer skid plate. It utilizes your factory locations, wraps a lot more around the motor, also comes up and protects your oil drain plug and pickup tube, which I really want that protection. I don't like all the mud getting caked in there and everything else. So I'm going to make my own kind of protection for that. I'm going to do that video immediately following this video. So if you're just interested in that side of it, I got a pretty cool idea in my head. And once I get the skid plate on, we'll see if I can fab it up and make it happen. So if you want to see that, stay tuned for the next video of that. But without further ado, we're going to get installing the skid plate. Okay, we're going to start by removing the factory bar here. There's a 10 millimeter bolt here. Over on the other side is a 10 millimeter bolt and nut, and two 10 millimeter bolts right here. So we're just going to take this all off. Now the kit, the skid plate did come with new bolts. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to reuse the factory bolts or use the new ones. I might just use the new ones. They look like they might be stainless. These ones are, they look like they're carbon. And over here you'll need the 10 millimeter wrench. I'm not going to show you this, it's just right there. And the kit does come with a nylon nut for this side too, which is kind of nice because this one is not a nylon nut. So this one could potentially back out. Okay, there it is. Just wanted to give you guys a quick comparison of these two side by side, so you can see the differences. See how that fits inside of there. Now it's just going to offer just a little wee bit more protection against the rocks and stuff from coming up underneath the bars. And that's what happened when I pressure washed it already. So, like, I'm not very happy about that. So, we're just going to get rid of that. Moving on. Okay, I did decide to use the new hardware. The bolts are, this one's a little bit shorter. These are a little bit longer, which is going to help me with the bracket that I'm going to make here. So, let's put this on. The other nice thing I like about this too is if you're going to, when you change your oil, you're not going to have to remove that other bar in order to get your screen out. So I kind of really like that idea, or that point. And then just like anything, get all your bolts and nuts started before you tighten anything down. Okay, done. There you go. Nice. Looks beautiful on the bike. I really like the black. It looks sleeker, cleaner to the bike. And then if you notice here, when I was talking about with your pickup and your bolt here, that stuff's accessible now. So you don't have to remove this to change your oil in the future. Now, what I'm going to put on here, I will have to do that, but that's okay. I'm choosing to do that. All right, everybody, that was a pretty easy install. Build quality on the skid plate's pretty good, right? None of the holes needed opened up or anything like that, so that's great from that company to be accurate like that. I like the way the skid plate looks on the bike. It doesn't look big and obnoxious like some of the other ones I've seen. The black is definitely the way I like it. I'm sure they offer a regular aluminum finish if that's what you'd want. But so anyways, we're going to, now I'm going to build the guard, I'm going to call it, for the drain plug and that pickup tube, just to protect it from mud getting caked in there. And I don't want to have to go through and scrub that all the time. So I'm going to make that, and I'm going to post that video right up after this one. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and catch you guys later.